Once again, here we are on Shu Amun Ra, small platform for those who can hear, for those who want to change their life. It only takes one ripple, one stone to drop it in the pond and watch the ripple effect. We're not here to gather people. We're here to send the message. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm Shu Amun Ra. Good morning. Hotep Ashe. My libations. I drink right now several different teas. That tea right there is ginger lemon. Ginger lemon, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, what I want to talk about today and throughout the day is a slow process of transforming our lives. It's a slow process of the way we think, because for over decades, we've been taught and engineered to think a certain way. Oh, you're just not gonna learn it right away. It takes time. As I, myself, I study under the Christianity of Jehovah's Witness and went through many different tunnels, if you will, to find myself. And there's levels to finding yourself, brothers, and then it depends on where you stop at. I give you a prime example. I remember we wasn't going to no kingdom or no church, nothing like that. But my mother's background, it comes from the Baptist church. And from the Baptist church, my mother took on the belief system of the Jehovah's Witness, and that's where she stayed. Now, for all her children, we left the Kingdom Hall. We moved on, and now I realized we didn't just leave or quit. I think we really moved on to elevate ourselves, because you go as far as your mind and your intellect allows you to go. Sometimes you go out into the wilderness and you pursue the wilderness lifestyle. You call it streets. So when you pursue these lifestyles, some of us go in, you go through all kinds of avenues. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to break that down for you. But you will go through all these avenues when you pursue the street life. And when you have to understand that many of us do not come back. Some of us come back and want to change, and they realize that life is not the way to be, not the path of the righteous way. And whatever you land, and usually you go back to what you know. Usually people go back to what they know, what they started off from. So use me for example. My first religious experience was Jehovah's Witness for many of years, until I became a teenager. So I was a kid, and then I was a teenager. Then by the time I became a teenager, you start to become aware and understanding. And what happened with me was I started studying the background of the Jehovah's Witness. I wanted to know where they come from, literally. And once I wanted to know where it come from, I decided to go deeper. I started reading things and seeing things when the internet really started to explode. Meaning, the internet started growing. So it's be able to get more access to the information about the background of the Jehovah's Witness. And I've read some things that was very, very disturbing. And it was basically predicated of the black man supposed to be cursed and so on and so forth. But I also realized I had to move forward. So I started going to church. Literally, I started going to church. But then that wasn't working for me either. So then I remember I was down south, and my brother, he's a Mason. He asked me, do I wanted to be a Mason? I thought about it, but I knew that still was not the answer. It just was not the answer for me. I was offered many different institutions to join, and this was not the answer because I don't like being stagnated. I don't like to be halt in one position, and then you got to keep following these people. That's just me. Whatever works for you is good for you, but I'm just telling you a little bit of my journey. So I started even watching TV evangelists, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, Creflo Dollar. My favorite was the Apostle Casey Price. I mean, Apostle Casey Price, if it had stayed on the way it should have, I would have probably went there and yes, been a Christian, stayed in the Christian world. But because to me, the Apostle Casey Price, he broke it down to you. Then I started listening to the Nation of Islam. And I started listening to the minister, Louis Farrakhan. Wow, was I jolted. Zoom. Like a whole new life. And with the Nation of Islam, listening to the minister, I bought the book of Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. Then from there, but this is years ago, many years ago, when I bought the book of the Nation of Islam, the book of Malcolm X, you start to get these two different stories, but you don't have the actual facts. You just have stories. So after that, I started realizing that wasn't for me. And then I started noticing Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali, the Moors, the Moors. Same thing, you got a jolt. Got that jolt. And started seeing about the Moors and where they come from, but once again, it wasn't for me. It was something that I needed. But you know what, brothers and sisters? I always kept saying to myself that I was connected to the Comitics. I always felt this strange feeling that I was connected to the Kemetic. See you in part 2. Real talk. Real moment. The life of Shu Amun Ra. Of finding yourself. Of walking through the religious world. See ya.